Hold on tight. It's time again for the ride of your life at Capital Ford. And the ride of your life begins now with great low payments on a new 2026 Ford Bronco Sport. Buy for as low as $399 a month. Or a new 2026 Ford Maverick. Also buy for as low as $399 a month. And you need to buckle up because Ford employee pricing is now available during our Ride of Your Life event at Capital Ford in Santa Fe.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pit Press Live, second edition of the New Mexico Lobo Women's Basketball Legends, hosted by former UNM women's basketball coach Yvonne Sanchez. We're kicking off episode 2 of the women's series, and we've got quite the crew on tonight. We got some of the WAC champs on here. We got Coach Sanchez. Tons of stories to tell. I want to thank our sponsors over at Capital Ford, Southwest Spray Foam for making it all happen. But Coach, I'm kicking it over to you. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, and welcome legends. Look at these three. Welcome legends. Yay.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Excited to be here.
Good. Great episode. This is the group that started pretty much, the kickoff with Lobos. When I was in high school, I'd go to the Lobo games, and unfortunately, they'd have a few fans. They weren't doing real well. They were in the High Country Athletic Conference. And, it was always a sleeping giant. And, we'll talk about, especially Abby and Tamika, your recruiting process. Katie, you had a pretty unique recruiting process as well. But I want to get right in with these guys, starting with you, Katie. We'll go Katie, Tamika, and Abby. What have you guys been doing this day, in these days?
Yeah, it's great to see everybody. So I coached for 15 years at the collegiate level and then have been out of the game now for quite a bit. And I work at the University of Wyoming, still repping my Lobo gear, but I work at the University of Wyoming as a development officer, do fundraising for the university, and have lived here now almost 20 years. I came here as an assistant coach in 2006 and just hit 20 years and have just enjoyed being here, but still enjoy following the Lobos. Get to go to games every year, so it's a lot of fun.
Fantastic. Tamika, what have you been up to?
Yeah, man, it's been kind of a up and down road here. Got been in corporate America, working for the bank. I've been with Wells Fargo now for about 28 years. But I got into club coaching, and after about 6 years of doing that, I had a couple kids who had kind of a rough high school experience and wanted me to come over to their high school and try to help the program. And so did that. Took an assistant varsity position at Millennium High School out in Goodyear, Arizona. Planned to do it for 1 year to help these girls out, and here I am going into my 19th season. But it's been great. Got a few state championships along the way, and getting some national attention now. These kids have really built the program. So, like I said, after going into 19 years, it's been quite the experience being able to see the evolution and what we've been able to do and building that culture and into what it is today. So, I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Yeah. Good. Did you go to Section 7? Were you there?
We did. Finished 2-2.
Nice.
Got to play in the top
Okay.
bracket. Getting to see
Nice.
all the national teams, every coach on the sideline. So it's nice to be able to get these kids that kind of exposure where you're playing the top teams in the country, the top girls in the country. We're one of the few high schools in Arizona being able to offer that. So it's a great experience for them.
Well, and I know that Coach Amy Egan and her staff are going to be well versed with Millennium High School now and in the future, because you guys got some kids and you just got three more. So congratulations on them.
Appreciate it.
All right, Abby. Last but never least, what have you been up to these days?
I'm coaching high school basketball and I'm teaching at the high school, and our school would probably get our butts blown out by Tamika's team. It's a little small school. It's a very small school, like 220 kids in the high school. But yeah, been doing that, and just we have 4 kids and super busy with that. 2 of them are in college now. We're
Wow,
moving one to we're moving one to college on Friday. So yeah, just kind of busy doing all that.
that's remarkable. That is absolutely remarkable. What colleges are they going to?
So the 2 older ones go to University of Wisconsin, the Badgers, and then our third one, Elle, is gonna play. She's gonna be playing soccer at Pitt. So she
Wow,
starts workouts this week, or starting next week. So she'll be in Pittsburgh.
that's amazing. And I'm sure Mom said at any time she got hurt, rub some dirt on it and get up and go.
Yeah, I didn't have to tell her that. She's our bulldog, so I never had to tell her that
Yeah,
one. They
that's
actually
awesome.
just won the
That's
state
awesome.
championship yesterday. So
Oh
for
my God,
soccer. Yeah, they just
congrats.
won yesterday. So that was like I have like bags under my eyes because we had the party at our house. So we've kind of just been having a good
Some things
time.
don't change.
Right.
Uh,
Oh, that's awesome. That's
yeah.
awesome. All right. Well, we're going to go back like a year or so ago when you guys started getting recruited by New Mexico. So, whoever wants to chime in first, tell me about the recruiting process. I know, like I said, with Tamika, you and Abby, it's a little bit different than Katie. But whoever wants to chime in first, talk about when New Mexico started recruiting you, how your first year was, and then we'll talk about the Flanagan era.
Yeah.
Go
I'll
ahead. Go ahead,
go.
Abby.
Go
Okay, go,
Tamika. Go
Tamika.
Tamika.
You want me to? Abby was looking at me. So, my recruiting experience, honestly, it came very late. I actually played 3 different sports in high school, so I was considering, at that time, potentially playing softball in college here locally at ASU, because I hadn't had a lot of basketball interest, to be quite honest. Other than some junior colleges. So softball was the only Division I offer that I had at the time. And then late New Mexico, Coach Eckroff came out to watch one of the games. And so the latter part of my senior year is when they really got on board, flew me out for a visit. And then right away, just meeting some of the girls and just the facility and walking into the pit, for me,
Yeah.
it honestly felt like home day one. Like I knew that was someplace that I could play. That at the time they weren't very good. I think they had won like 2 games the year before we got there. And I was a kid, I wanted to play. I was never really good sitting on anybody's bench. So it was kind of a perfect opportunity for me to go somewhere and see, after being told you're too small, you're too this, 5'3", whatever, you can't play at that level. I'd been hearing that my whole life when it came to basketball. And so for Coach Eckroth to take a chance on me at that time when nobody else really was, I was extremely, extremely grateful and humbled by them just even wanting to take that chance on me. So when I got there, like I said, walking in that pit, it'll do something to you. Like it's just a different kind of a feeling. And then when you think about who you are as an athlete and what you want to do with your career, it just felt right, for me. So always be grateful. Flanagan will forever be, such a mentor and an important part of my life, but could not be more grateful to that first coaching staff just for taking that chance on me.
Fantastic. That's great. That's fantastic. Abby, what about you?
It's funny because recruiting's so different now, and I think back
Yes.
to like how much we didn't know at all by my parents, me, like we just didn't. It just wasn't the way it is now at all. So um, I actually had like one of my high school athletic directors advised me not to play AAU. She said it was bad and all these things. And so I didn't play AAU until going into my junior year. So, but I was lucky enough to be on an AAU team with two 6'5" players. So all the coaches were coming to see, and it was easier for coaches to recruit back then because there were very few AAU
Right.
teams. And so they would come to watch the 6'5" players. So the rest of us all got offers because they came to watch the 6'2", the post players. So I had quite a few offers, and I boiled it down to University of Illinois, Marquette in New Mexico, and I have no idea. Like if I knew what I know now, I would have been New Mexico wouldn't have even been on the list because the other schools were just better basketball schools. But I went same
Right.
as Tamika. I went to New Mexico, and um, I, there was just something about New Mexico that has always been magical for me. Just the state in general, the pit, everything. I just had a sense. I do always have a good feel for things in life, and I definitely had a good feel there. Um, and I'm so glad that I didn't choose the bigger, fancier place over New Mexico. I always think about that, and I think things would have been a lot different for me with my basketball career, not as great as they were at New Mexico. So,
Right.
yeah, and I think the guy who originally saw me at a Wisconsin tournament. His name was Doug, I think, but he didn't.
Yep.
He actually didn't. It wasn't even the assistant coach our first year. So he's the one
Right.
who recruited me at like a Wisconsin shootout that used to be
Yeah.
up northern Wisconsin. So yeah,
He, I think, was a high school coach, if I remember correctly. And
yeah. If you
then
said
I
his last
think,
name, yeah.
ah, I don't remember, but it was Doug. And um, yeah, and then, yeah, he was like a high school guy, and then Coach Eckroth hired him, at some point
Okay,
after that. So yeah. And
yeah.
there could have been the AAU tournament, you cross paths, something like that. It's probably what
Yeah, it
happened.
was the guy who ran our AAU club was a big high. He was this high guy in AAU, just AAU, the organization, and so somehow
Yeah.
would get all these coaches to come to the middle of nowhere in northern Wisconsin to his tournament every year.
Right.
It would never
Oh,
happen
that's
nowadays, but they would
no,
come up
no.
there, and that's where they saw me. So
Oh, that's awesome. All right, Katie, the most probably unique one. Tell us about
Yeah.
your recruit.
Yeah. Similar to Mika, mine was late. I
Yeah.
obviously played for Coach Flanagan. I don't know if everybody knows. I played for Coach Flanagan in high school at El Dorado High School. I was very
Yeah.
fortunate when
Go
they hired
Eagles!
Mo Eckroth.
Woo!
Yeah, I know, go Eagles. When they hired Mo Eckroth, Coach Flanagan was in the running for that, and I was going into my freshman year of high school, and so I was really anticipating not being able to play for Coach Flanagan because I thought they would hire him, but they didn't. So thankfully, I was able to play for him for 4 years in high school, and then I
Yeah.
remember following my senior year, we won state. I was heading out to go
Right.
recruiting, to go to on a couple of recruiting visits. I was going to Fort Hays State, Kansas, or a junior college in West Texas. And I
Okay.
remember getting ready to go on those visits, and Coach Flanagan kind of took me aside and he just said, "Don't sign any paperwork." And that's kind of all he told me. And so I go on the visits and I was, I'm kind of like, what's going on? And I'm trying to be honest with the other programs. And they kind of had an inkling of what was happening. And so I came back, and I remember Coach Flanagan took me aside and he's like, okay, I'm going to take the job. And I think I don't think I'd gone on my recruiting visit. And I remember it was Easter and my mom and I were like, okay, this is so exciting. And then all of a sudden he calls me and he's like, no, I'm not going to take the job, Katie. Something's going on with the contract. I had this moment of just completely like, oh my gosh, what's happening? So I was back going to Fort Hays State, and then coach ended up taking the job. And I remember going on a recruiting trip and meeting Tamika and Abby, meeting the team. And, I think they really kind of didn't know what to expect, but I think they thankfully took me in. Thanks, guys. And I just had the best opportunity. I mean, when I was growing up, everybody had asked where you'd want to go to college, and it was anywhere but New Mexico. Just being a hometown kid, you wanted to go out and experience things. But I could not be happier that I went to New Mexico, was able to play at home, play in front of the fans in Albuquerque that just love the Lobos. I can see my mom and my dad right there in that picture. And gets a little emotional on this Father's Day that I don't have my dad here with me, but he was one of my biggest fans. And I just love that, and loved being able to play in front of them for so many years. So
big time gentle giant. He was a great person, a great person.
Definitely was known as Katie's dad around town, and he loved it. So it was
no, that was awesome. So Abby and Tamika, you guys played 2 years before Coach Flanagan came? Was that right?
Just one.
It was one.
No,
year.
just one.
Okay.
Yep.
So, for those of you that don't know, and a lot
this
of
is our first team.
Yeah, a lot of people forget about this, is University of New Mexico dropped the women's program in, I think, 1988. And, rumor had it, they dropped it so they didn't have to pay a head coach their salary out, because unfortunately it was Doug Hazelton at the time. And, rumor has it, who knows, that they wanted to fire him and they didn't want to pay him out his contract. So they did the unheard of thing and dropped the program, which was really, really unfortunate. But they dropped it, I believe, for 5 years, or maybe 4 or 5 years. And, it was a tough road. I think recruiting you two, Tamika and Abby, were an amazing thing with Coach Eckroth, because you guys could have left after she did, but you said, you know what, we're going to try this thing. And you could have said, oh, this is a high school coach, what are they doing here, blah, blah, blah. I mean, obviously, Katie and I know that he should have been hired years ago, but it's a remarkable thing. So averaging 4 season ticket holders a game, and averaging maybe 4 wins a year, and it was 8 season ticket holders, actually. You guys come in your freshman year, or Katie, your freshman year, Abby, Tamika, your sophomore year, and you do the unheard of. You get 18,018 at a couple of games and go to the WAC championship. So, one at a time, or whoever you want, describe kind of coming into that team, your off season, your non-conference, your conference, and when you thought you could really win that WAC championship in '98.
I don't know. I that was not even, it's just funny. Again, I was so naive. Like, we were just doing what Coach told us to do day to day. There was never like, oh, we're gonna, I think Tamika and I, and obviously Katie, coming from a winning high school program, like Tamika and I didn't come from like this we did well in high school, but we didn't win state championships like Katie. But like, I think Tamika and I are just fighters and competitors. And that took us a long way. And then Coach Flanagan like pulled it out of us, I think, even more. So that first year, it wasn't like there wasn't a goal. We were just doing what he told us to do day to day, and it was working. And we were and we all got along so well. I think that also helped.
For sure. All right, Tamika, you're next. You describe what you went through then.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I remember, after that first year, like Abby said, we didn't necessarily win a bunch of championships in high school, but we were winners. Like, I've always been a winner. I've always won. I've always been on teams that have won and played at a high level. So that first year experiencing, a losing season, that was kind of like the first time I had gone through that. And I remember us kind of having those conversations as to what we were going to do. Like, you know, do we stay? Like, what, I don't know what to do. Like that was a hard year for us to have to go through that. But, you know, meeting Coach Flanagan and hearing how confident he was when he came in, he sounded like he had a plan. And like she said, I think we did have sort of like that fighter, like competitive spirit where we were still confident about what we felt like we could do and bring to a program as individual players. And he was saying all the right things that we felt like, you know, if you can do what you say you're going to do, we could have something special here, you know, and I'm just grateful that we did stick it out, you know, together, and sometimes going through those hard things together. I think it gave us even more fight because we knew, you know, that we had a chance to do something special, you know, going almost 500 that second season in such a short period of time, and seeing the fans kind of start to gravitate towards us so quickly. You know, it was like I said, it's a special feeling, you know, the fans in New Mexico, it's different, you know, when you give them something that they value and can appreciate, there's a different kind of energy that flows through that building. And so that year, I think as it started to progress and we saw ourselves having success doing what Coach Flanagan asked us to do, you know, you buy in very quickly. He got us to buy in very quickly, and you know, getting to the WAC championship, obviously that's the result.
Absolutely. All right, Katie, tell me about your first year with these two, and just kind of, you probably had to kind of talk to these two, even though they had a year ahead, and say, hey, this is Coach Flanagan and this is what he wants.
Yeah. You know, I think there was an advantage to that. I agree with Abby. Thank gosh, we were so naive. I mean, honestly, that first year I had, you know, thankfully I knew going in kind of the system, and I could help out a little bit, kind of understanding what his terminology, especially, you know, I mean, the stutter step, Abby, never forget that. but you know, just little things, you know, and thank gosh, they were both so wonderful to me, taking me under their wing, and really, you know, freshman year, you don't know what you're doing. And, you know, I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we made it to the WAC championship my freshman year, your sophomore year. And I mean, we had no idea what we were doing. I look back at that, I'm like, oh my gosh, we were so close to beating CSU and winning that first year. But then, you know, going into my third year, your senior year, of winning it, it was spectacular. You know, we got along so well. We had a weird injury. We had to really change our offense for that tournament. The Luxor offense, right?
Yes.
Is that what it was?
Yes, it was.
And it was, I mean,
I still run that, by the way, sometimes with my big. So
I know, right?
I stood the test of time.
We did it so well, and it was one of those rare opportunities. I had it a couple times when I was coaching, where things just started flowing so quickly. Scouting reports were going really quickly. You just picked up things. Games just started happening so fast, and it was such a neat opportunity. And you know, to do a lot of that stuff that we playing in front of our crowd, you couldn't beat it.
Yeah. And in the age of analytics, Coach was such a feel, you know, he's like, you know what, I don't care this, that, or the other. This is how I'm going to coach. And he was so good at it. So, yeah, you guys were, I think, 15 and 18. The WAC championship was held at the Pit, which after that they said they'd never hold it there again. I believe you guys you were playing CSU for the championship and had a little over 15,000. You know, your first year.
Becky Hammond.
Yeah, that's
Becky
right.
Hammond.
That's right. That's
Tamika,
right.
you got her a couple times.
I did. I did my best. You know.
You got her a couple times.
Yeah.
That's right.
Pretty good,
and then you go through that first year. There's some success. There's a buzz around, you know, Albuquerque. A lot of good things happening. Now you go through, Katie, your second year, Abby, Tamika, your third year. What's the vibe like then?
Great.
honestly. Yeah, for me, I think when once you get and I think that kind of led up to, you know, ultimately winning it our senior year. But, you know, experiencing that, when you experience something like that, you know, so quickly, it does leave that hunger inside where you know what it's like to win again. It just, you want more of it. And so it was kind of that test. The junior year, I don't know, for me, it was kind of weird. I actually had an injury. I finished the season with a torn tendon. So I wasn't healthy the whole season either, which, made it difficult for me. I ended up having surgery after the season. But I think falling short that second year, because once you go there, it feels like you're going to get there every year, right? Like that's the goal. That becomes standard. You're not like satisfied with the fact that, hey, we got there one time. It's like that next year, now you're trying to get there, but now you're trying to get there and win it, right? So then when you fall a little bit short, and then, for Abby and I, following that season, you only got one more shot to do it, So I remember that summer of my junior year, putting in more off-season work than I ever had. Coach Flanagan was gracious enough to get in the gym with me, work on my shot, different things. I think, for going into that senior, I just remember thinking like losing isn't an option. It's just not going to be an option.
Yeah. No,
I don't know about you.
Yeah, a lot of head coaches even. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tamika.
No. I was just saying, I think that would be the one word I would describe going into that, after that year and you have that letdown. It was just, I don't think we've ever been more hungry for something than what we were that year.
Coach Flanagan always prided himself, and he was so good at it, in player development. He did it, Katie and I can attest when we were playing for him in high school. But player development was just so big for him. And he always was in the gym. There's not a lot of head coaches, even in this day and age, that get in the gym with their players. It's all player development people, skilled people, assistants, whatever it might be. But he was really, really good at it, and he had a way of teaching you how to be great. He had the mental aspect. He was one of the first coaches that I ever had that did mental movies. You guys all remember mental movies. It's called visualization now, but we would.
I found my tape. I found my
Oh, there you go. Tell us about that. Tell us about that, Katie.
You're right, because I was actually about to say the same thing. He was one of the first coaches I ever had, talking about the mental side of the game and playing through how many shots you have to make in your head, how many positive statements you have to make, not only just basketball, but personally, and just really getting that in your mindset to, once you see yourself winning, you see yourself making those shots, it's going to become easier. And so he really did approach that with us. We had to record our own voice on a tape and so I was actually going through at my mom's house, and we still found my goals tape. I didn't listen to it.
That's awesome.
And
he'd have,
we had to turn,
go ahead.
We had to turn it in as like an assignment. We'd have to, like the first year, he made us turn in the tapes like homework assignment for him to listen to, make sure that we were saying the words like the way he wanted the words said, like the phrases were correctly said.
Oh yeah, and it was always. It was never negative. I am a good shooter. I always, find the open player. I always. It was never that C word. That can't. Yep, that can't word you never used, or you'd be running or in push-up position.
Yep.
But it was. I can. I will.
Oh my gosh.
Let's just say there might have been one of us in a little bit more of the push-up position.
One of us did have a little bit more push-ups.
Coach Flanagan with those tapes, like again, like I am like a very much of a feel person, and so I never thought too much about what I would like. I didn't ever think too much when I played. I learned as a coach. I've learned as a coach, a lot of years now, is that I didn't realize that most people get in their heads about things. They get a lot of negative thoughts. And so I never, when Coach Flanagan would make us do all that, I was so confused. I was like, why do I have to do this? Now I understand, because I coach kids, and most kids don't, they have the negative thoughts, and I just really didn't. And I'm not saying that to brag or anything, but like, that's probably what was contributed to my success, is like, so I was confused all the time why Coach Flanagan made us do this.
That's why you were a great shooter. You have a short memory as a shooter.
Right. I do.
That's why you're so great.
that, I mean, and so like I would be mad at Coach Flanagan all the time. Like, why are we doing this? This is ridiculous. And so I would always be in push-up position because I was the hard head of the group. And I didn't want to do that stuff. I just wanted to play back. Just give me the ball and let me shoot the ball. Damn it, get out of my way. You know, that's basically how you guys can agree with that, right?
That's a pretty accurate account, by the way.
And I'd set the screen and just shoot the ball.
Oh, yeah. So, and that was going to go next. So, you see in this day and age, a lot of people set those blind screens, especially when defenses are picking up full court the point guard. Katie Kern and your group, so this is 1998, was the master and probably the originator of the blind screen. So what Coach Flanagan would do, Katie would take the ball out, she'd run down the court to about half court and loop back around. By that time, Tamika would take probably her player a couple steps left and then hard right, and that screener never knew what hit him. And I think you knocked a couple people out, like out cold.
Stitches.
Yes.
Yep.
And
at Rice, I remember at the WAC tournament, they had to get, I think, smelling salts out, and yeah, but it truly was a team effort because Tamika she had them going, and I was just like, I just had to time it perfectly with her. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it really was great. And every now and then you kind of knew when we were in bonus. So if I had to take the fall to get the foul shots, right. If they hit me hard enough, I could fall and get a foul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you would just fall because of that. Because trust me, you couldn't push Katie Kern down. So
right.
That's very, very good. Yeah,
I loved it. I think that was part of being raised in Coach Flanagan's system. Obviously I started playing under his system, I think in 5th grade. That you just learned to play all those aspects of the game. And being a role player, I loved screening, I loved rebounding. And when you had a player like Tamika and Abby on your team, it's, that was my role, was how do I get the two of them to score? How do I get them to the basket? How do I get Abby open on the 3? And then we were going to win as a team. And I think I think Coach Flanagan brought that out in us. It wasn't about me, it was really about the team. And I loved that aspect of the 3 of us. And this right here, this picture is just a great indication of that.
Right. No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to go ahead?
I've told the story to my players over, like, I just wish they could meet Tamika and Katie, because I mentioned you guys so many times at practice about the screens at half court. I'm like, did she like knock the girls out? And like, I traumatized the whole story. And like, and the high school girls are like, okay, coach, we got it. Like, but the funny thing is,
I have the newspaper article about it. Actually, my dad sent it to me.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, that's good. There you go. Bringing the pain.
Yeah.
Love that.
That's awesome, Abby.
The funny thing is the high school girls can't, like, it sounds like something simple, but a lot of people have it's all about angles and timing. Right. And a lot of high school kids have, at least the ones I coach, have a hard time with, that's a hard skill. So even though it seemed like an easy thing, it's not. It required a lot of setup and angles, and you guys did it so well, and it was awesome.
Well, and I watch a lot of basketball. I watch NBA, WNBA, I watch high school, but people don't know how to screen. They just don't know how to screen, and it's always an offensive foul, and they complain they didn't do anything. It's an art, and you're right. And screening is really, really important in an offense that requires off-ball movement. It really is.
Yeah.
So, good deal. Yeah. So we go through the season. Oh, go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, no, I had a question real quick, because since we're talking about offense, X's and O's, you guys all kind of smirked when the Luxor offense was brought up earlier. I want to know more about this, like kind of break down the offensive scheme, the motion, what Tamika's doing with the ball, what she's looking for. Is she looking to kick out to Abby? Like walk me through the progression of that.
Well, it happened based on an injury. We had one of our players get injured right before going into the Mountain West tournament. And then, so we had to transition to going to, instead of three out and 2 bigs in, we switched it up and having Anita, myself, Miranda, or was it Jen?
Jen. I think it was
Jennifer Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jennifer Williams. So the 3 of us running a 3 bigs, and then having Tamika and Abby on the outside. But I'll let you guys,
Yeah, and it honestly, what's so great about it is, sometimes it's hard for kids to pick up stuff and retain it, and it looked like a complex offense because there were so many different options you could hit out of it, but at the baseline of it, it really was just kind of a high-low offense, where and Katie, Anita, Jen, they did such a good job of reading each other, flashing hard. A lot of times with kids nowadays, you get somebody flash into the middle, you got to look like you're an actual threat when you catch the ball. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. And so something just that small and just being able to really sell that I'm a threat when I flash to the free throw line. They all did that so well, and they had developed a jumper where they could knock down that mid-range jump shot. So teams had to respect that. And so while they did that, defense, they're collapsing, they're closing, they're kind of pinching in on that hard flash to the paint, that it allowed us to sort of send another big to duck in on that baseline, where a lot of times it's a catch and a dump down low, with a one-on-one mismatch. We tried to move them around, and we kind of knew, like, as a point guard, as a guard on the outside, Abby knows, if I'm shot ready, if they collapse on my big, she's always shot ready. I always tried to look for the mismatches when I saw, okay, if they get the right switch, the right flash, and now Katie's got this girl that I know can't guard her, I'm looking for that being the option number one. So, like I said, it was always a different option out of it. But I think it was a personnel based, and then us just playing on a string and just understanding each other's strengths so well, that they made it look good. Like I said, I still run it today when we've got some mismatches inside. So every time I yell Luxor, I kind of have those flashbacks of watching Katie and Anita go.
Awesome.
That's what we were doing for the tournament. That's where, so it was the triangle. So we were
Saved
staying
it,
there.
It's the Luxor, yeah, that's how we named it.
Langan literally drew it up like 2 days before we started the WAC tournament, and then he asked us to name it, and we're like, all right, and because it was the three girls on the three posts on the inside, and we were saying to Luxor, we were like Luxor, and then we thought it was cool because we helped name the offense.
Right.
So I just think I think of offenses now, and like what I really appreciated, and I think that's why I thrived in Coach Flanagan's system. As strict as he was, it's my personality. Like I have super, like, there's certain things that I'm going to do, and I'm going to do them every day, and I'm consistent with. But there's a lot of creativity and freedom within that system, and he allowed, even though he had a lot of rules that I did not like, he allowed a lot of creativity on the court in those offenses, and they weren't like, we didn't rep like all these actions that people rep nowadays, these DHOs. It wasn't, it was very simple, but we had a group of really smart players. Number one, you got to have that. And he trusted us that we were able to, play within that simplicity, which makes it hard to guard because it's unpredictable. You can't scout the things that we were doing. There was nothing to scout. We didn't have any set plays. They were all reads, and they were simple. They were very simple reads, and we did them very well. And like Coach Sanchez said with the screen setting, like I always credit every time I say, like, he was like literally had a hand in probably 95% of those points, and I mean Tamika too, because she had to make the pass, but I'm saying getting set up because Katie knew what to be doing. And that's the Luxor offense kind of just, it put all of that together. And Anita played so well in that tournament. She's such a smart player. So it really like showcased her talent that tournament.
Dang, she was good.
Yeah, I think our relationship on and off the court, I mean, it was so special. It's just keeping track of my friends throughout these years, and we all lived together. It was great. I mean, you think about all the things of life that go through in those 4 years of your life, and just having the ability to spend the time on the court, at home together, traveling together, going through the ups and downs. I think it just made us that much stronger. And I just feel so thankful we played at a time where you did get 4 years. It's not so much guaranteed and very rare, honestly, anymore. And so I feel very fortunate that is the time I played at with, especially with these two.
That's awesome. Yeah, Coach Flanagan wasn't big on set plays, and you know what he did have? He was a huge fundamentalist, as you guys know.
Yep.
But at the
Yep.
end of the day, he didn't care if you blew up the playbook as long as you played within the fundamentals. So it was a read and react. And coming from a place, I would think I was at New Mexico State when you guys were there, and maybe even San Diego State one year. I can't remember. But you were unscoutable. You couldn't be scouted. And, we had the luxury of having Anita Maxwell, but after that dried up, we were never going to have a chance. But it was just fun to watch you guys play, because I followed obviously him and then you guys and then you get to the WAC tournament and have to win 4 games, mind you. There's 16 teams in the WAC. Who was your first opponent? Do you remember?
I know we had to beat 2 ranked teams. Like they were ranked as Hawaii and Utah. We're in the top 25. And we had to beat
Utah, Colorado State, and then Rice in the championship.
Right, yeah.
Rice.
Okay.
Yep.
I knew you beat Rice in the championship. I just didn't remember who you played. So you get to Vegas. It's the Pit West. Back then, the tournament was run so cool because it was run in conjunction with the men's tournament. So, you'd have a couple of days, the men would play, and your whole entire fan base would be there. So day one, you play. What's that like?
Yeah, I think kind of like what Tamika said, we were hungry, to get there, to play. Coach Flanagan instilled such a confidence in us, and I think it obviously translated through a lot of years in his. But I think we were all excited. I think we were playing well together. I think the excitement about the new offense. I mean, I clearly remember being like ready to go that year.
Yeah. And if you guys remember, we finished that season. We had a really good season, but I remember us being tied, I think, with UTEP, and we had to beat them in order to claim sort of the first round bye. And we ended up dropping that last game of the season. And I remember him being so mad at us and challenging us, like as if, like you guys don't want it like you say you want it.
Right.
And, that was one of his shortest speeches. And he left the locker room. And I remember us going like, forget that. Like what? He thinks we're not going to go out here and do this. Like he challenged, and I think he knew he always knew what he was doing. I think he knew, his words were going to sting us a little bit, in challenging how much we wanted it and how hungry we really were. So I think going into that very first game, like I said, I remember, and Jody Corey, I'm not getting emotional talking about Jody, but Jody Corey was my roommate at the time. And I remember us going into our hotel room and unpacking our entire suitcase. We hung up all of our clothes, we used the drawers, we used everything. And we're like, we're going to be here all week. So unpack that suitcase, put it away. We're going to act like we live here for a week. And I remember doing that on day one. We unpacked our whole suitcase because we knew we were going to be there all week.
Sure.
I remember us joking in the airport because we all brought. I mean, that was back when you could just bring as many bags as you wanted to. So we're in the airport like, yeah, we packed for the whole week, and we're like bragging about it, talking about it in the airport. And Coach Flanagan was cracking up and we packed for the week because we were going to win this. We were winning.
Yep.
That UTEP game. I don't have a good memory, but that was really horrible because we didn't win the regular season WAC championship. We would have won if we would have beat UTEP. And I
forgot
actually
about that.
And that's when I broke the scoring record. It was at UTEP, and I didn't even care. I was so mad. I was like, and everyone kept talking about the stupid scoring record. I was like, I don't even care about this, because we didn't win. And Coach Flanagan is not a yeller. That's the thing about Coach Flanagan. He was very strict, but he did not yell. He never raised his voice, but he did in the locker room. I mean, he didn't raise it like anywhere close to what a lot of coaches do, but he definitely raised it. And like Tamika said, it was a very short speech, and we were
message received.
Yeah,
exactly. Message received, exactly.
What was the harshest word he said? Because I can guess this. What was the harshest word he said in the locker room?
Ooh,
I don't know.
I remember one when we were up in when we played up in Marquette.
Okay.
I remember that one, and because Coach didn't cuss at all
Ever.
I mean. And I remember what time he did up there in that locker room. Yeah. And I remember, and I was like, oh, we're in trouble. And I think it was our freshman year.
I'm trying
And
to
I was like,
remember now.
whoa, we are in trouble.
I don't remember that.
I'll remind you of that one offline, but I was like,
Yeah.
oh gosh, we
Well,
are in trouble. But no,
I
I mean,
probably,
really,
yeah,
it was definitely more of the disappointed. And
yeah,
you guys,
very much.
it was going back to those mental things. It's, you have the
Yeah.
ability to do this. You just
Right.
you have to show up. You have to do the work. But
Right.
I mean, I feel like that's how he really motivated us more than ever yelling. And,
Yeah, for
which
sure.
I always really appreciated as a player. I felt like
Yeah.
he just, kind of challenged us to be the best that we could be. And he knew we had the ability to do it. So I think he instilled that confidence in us,
Yeah.
but you knew.
When he said doggone, oh, you knew he was mad, and you're like, all right, we gotta go, we gotta go, because I was like, you gotta take care of the doggone ball. I'm like, oh God, he's mad, because he didn't need to curse. He didn't need to,
Nope.
it just was a quiet strength that he always had, that instilled you. So you get to the WAC championship game. Albuquerque is buzzing, Vegas is buzzing. People spend their entire vacation all year. They have 1 week to go on vacation in New Mexico, and they go to the WAC tournament or the Mountain West down the road. You're in the championship game. Just describe that game and the feeling when the clock hit 0.
I felt like we won the national championship. I look back, I was like, that was my national championship.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's what it felt like. We put in,
Yeah.
like we put in so much work, and we, like Katie said, we were so close, and we didn't have to do it. I know teams do a lot of team bonding and talking and culture building. They do all these activities, and we didn't do that. That wasn't a thing back then, but we did it on our own, kind of. We had such a good culture on our team. And so it feels really good to do that with the group, with that type of group. And it did. It literally felt like the national championship to me.
That's awesome. It was awesome. What about you two?
Yeah.
Man,
Preparing for this. Go ahead, T.
No, go, Katie,
You
go
got the
ahead.
sign behind you. You've got the sign
No.
behind you.
No, I honestly just remember feeling completely exhausted. When you talk to your kids about leaving it all on the court, leaving it all out there or whatever, I mean, you're playing 4 games straight. I had logged a lot of minutes, and I had never been more grateful to my teammates in that moment, because I don't even know that I had my best game that championship. It was like, I just remember hanging on, like I was so tired the whole game, but it was like looking around at my teammates and wanting to like, man, Tamika, you get, just 2 more minutes, 3 more minutes, 4 more minutes. Like, you can't get tired right now. Like, you want it so bad, not even just for yourself, but you're looking around and you've seen everybody's hard work and, the struggle and what it's taken to get there. It's like, you don't want to disappoint anybody else by not being able to do your job. And I just remember being so tired. I mean, those zeros could not come fast enough. I think I dropped to the floor. I don't even think I ran to anybody. I was just like, oh my God, it's over. We did it. Like, it was crazy, but shout out to the team, because it kept me going.
I remember how special it was, and just fun preparing for this, going through all the pictures, looking back through all that and seeing all the emotion, and, seeing our parents there, and, and unfortunately we've lost several teammates. And I think, going through that, and, you go through those moments together. It was amazing. And then on top of that year, our men's team was also in the championship. So we had Lamont, we had all of them, we had Greg. I mean, there were so many people. It was such a New Mexico year. And it was, I just remember jumping on the court. We had the signs. That night went on forever. It was just, it was so much fun. And it was just everything you put your heart and soul into.
Yeah. And I'll get back to that with your teammates here in a little bit. But I just, looking forward now, Amy Egan has taken over the reins at New Mexico. I got a chance to go to an open practice last Thursday, I believe. Wednesday was Wednesday. You guys will be glad to know she started with defense. She opened up the open practice with defense. And for those of you guys, I mean, I was pretty happy about that. they look good. They, in the portal years, I mean, in this day and age, you're going to have a pretty much new team, and that's going to be everybody. But I think it's important now to get this program, back in a era where they can go start winning championships, supporting Amy. I told her I want to try to help her bring you guys back to a game, or we'll set up a dinner or set up something. But I know she's anxious to get to know you guys, and I do believe there's another Zoom call coming up. I don't know if you guys know that, or I can try to send you both the link for
Be great.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
next week,
Yeah.
because I know she's really anxious to get with you guys and just embrace you. I think it's not that you were ever forgotten, and I don't want to speak of anything else. I just know that Amy really wants to get New Mexico back in the NCAA tournament, back, in the national media, which I think can happen, and in the Mountain West. And I think you guys can come up and, at least just talk to the team, or be part of that. I know she really wants that. And you guys are legends. I mean, this is Lobo Legend, and I'm doing this, and I told her I will do this because these guys can't be forgotten. Like, it's been a long time, but it hasn't. And what you guys did for that first championship, the first NCAA tournament, propelled everything that happened after that. And you guys make it easy, but it was, and you guys will think back, that wasn't easy. That was not easy what you guys did, and you did it. You, I mean, like I said, you took a chance uh, with staying at New Mexico, with going to New Mexico, with a team that traditionally wasn't a winning program, and you made it there. And that was, you three remind me of the start of something special. You really do, and that's why I wanted to get you guys on and get you guys there. And we'll wrap it up a little bit. I want to hear from you, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention you guys have had a very difficult time with losing three team members. Whitney Rearson Dempson, Jody Corey, Miranda Sanchez. It's tough, and I don't want to. I want to try to keep it together, but I know it was difficult because Jody and Miranda I knew pretty well. Whitney I knew okay, but anytime you lose a teammate or lose a member of your family, it's difficult at a young age, and those three were a very vital part of UNM women's basketball, and you guys embraced them. I think you played with all three of them, and so I know there's nothing but good memories, and I know they're smiling down on you right now, and there'll be signs. There's different things that come together, but I just want to mention them, and I don't want them to ever be forgotten, I guess. And I don't know if you want to speak out on that, any of you guys. It's tough to talk about still, but anything you guys want to add to that? I got you.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
no, it
and I
is difficult.
appreciate that,
Yeah,
uh,
but
Coach.
but terrific,
But that,
terrific people. Go ahead, T.
no, yeah, no, I just want to say, yeah, I always appreciate you and just even doing this, and you've always been, even though we didn't get the chance to play for you, sometimes I forget that I didn't play for you because that's just that family feel that we've had. There's
Yeah,
such a strong connection with the Lobo community, and
right,
so obviously as teammates, we had that bond, and so anytime
right,
you lose, like it's no different than losing a family member,
right.
you could, it doesn't matter how many years go between getting together or talking with one another,
Right.
there's a piece of you that lives within one another because you've been through so much together. And so, losing those girls, way too soon, it shakes you a little bit. It makes you want to
Yeah.
hold on to those relationships a little bit stronger. I know we've tried to get together and kind of have like reunions, throughout the
Yeah.
years. We always stay connected on social media and text messages, group chats, because those are like your sisters. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
really are sisters for life. It's not just a cliche or something you say because it sounds good. Like you genuinely care about these people
Right.
and their lives, not just as basketball players. You want to know about their kids, their family, how they're
Right.
doing. We've all been there for each other. Katie and I went through some rocky roads, and we were able to kind of bond through that emotional experience as well. That's somebody that, like I said, it doesn't matter how long I talk to her or how many years go by, like something happens in life, and just having her kind of be there for me and me be able to be there for her through the trying times of real life, after basketball, it's priceless, absolutely
Right.
priceless. So those girls will never be forgotten, as
Right.
far as our goals are concerned.
Yeah, and as far as I'm concerned, me either. I mean, we'll try to find a way to honor them. I asked Madison Warren about that in the first uh, alumni Zoom, if there's a way that we can honor those three somehow, some way. So we'll put our heads together and do that. But you're right. You stay together, you have a bond that's unbreakable, and you have a home in New Mexico that maybe you haven't been a long time. Abby, I know you're a little ways away. Katie, I know you're busy as heck, but your mom still lives here, I believe.
Yep.
So yeah,
I was
so
down last year for a game.
oh, there you go. There you go.
Yep. Was down
I'll
with Kenny
definitely, yeah.
Thomas.
Oh, there you go. And I'm definitely going to the Grand Canyon game in Phoenix, so I'll be able to do that. But I told Eric I would do this because I think it's important. Number one, to support Amy Egan and her staff, and try to get them to whatever they need and have them understand. And I think they do what Lobo basketball is all about, but it it resonates better with the legends, with you guys, because you guys lived it. And I think it's important that people never forget what you guys did and why there's 6,000 fans in the stand. That didn't happen by chance. That happened because they finally took a chance on Coach Flanagan, and it wasn't much of a chance. They should have hired him earlier, but they finally hired him, and they finally saw what obviously Katie and I knew in him about how good of a coach he is and how good of a person he is. So that's a great thing. Any last words, you guys, to wrap this up?
Well, I just want to say thank you, and I'm excited to cheer on Amy's team as well. We're here to support them. Definitely always go Lobos. And yeah, I think it's really neat that you did this and got us together. We don't get it together enough, and I also think we need to probably count the number of Division 1 and 2 athletes our team has produced, because Abby's got
sure.
2, Tamika's got a couple. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's I love my Lobo family, and very much
Yeah.
thank you very much for this evening.
Absolutely. It's so good to see you, Katie. It really is. Abby, any last words?
No, just the same. This is great. When we had the Zoom with alumni with Amy,
Yeah.
with Coach Egan a couple weeks ago, I thought that was a great move of her to do, not a move, but for her to do that, to include, I mean, every other program includes their alumni. They have alumni nights, and I
Yep.
think it's very important to remember and keep that group together, because it just pulls the community together. And I'm glad that you're helping her out with that, because I think that's kind of something that will help propel the program in a positive direction moving forward. So yeah, so thank you for getting us together.
Absolutely. How about you, Tamika?
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys doing this. And like I said, you've always been such a great supporter of the Lobos and getting everybody back together. And Amy, I actually got a chance to meet her over the weekend at
Good.
Section 7. And after the alumni Zoom call, yeah, she's got great energy. I think she's got in the right headspace to really do some special things with this team. I'm praying that everything clicks for them. They get the kids they want to build what they envision. But she's headed on the right track, So I just appreciate the energy and just that willingness to kind of reach back and include the alumni, and provide some mentorship for these kids, and just kind of create that excitement and that buzz again. So I'll be following closely for sure. I'm excited for the
Awesome.
season.
Awesome. Well, yes, go Lobos. Go Lobos, go
Woo, woo,
Lobos.
woo.
Eric, you want to
Lobo.
wrap it up?
Lobo.
I will wrap it up, but I'll let you just tell our listeners, our viewers, what interview we have coming on Tuesday evening. We'll have to confirm with Allison at 8 or 8:30, but you want to let the people know who you have coming on Tuesday.
Well, Tuesday, Amy Egan is actually coming on, so Eric got that scheduled for us, and we get to sit down and talk and have a conversation, and we got to figure out if we can, help her in any way possible. And For Amy, I told her this after the open practice. You guys know how New Mexico is. You've got 3 TV stations. You've got Albuquerque Journal, the Santa Fe New Mexican. You've got, the Milwaukee Times, whatever it might be. And then now all the internet sensations. And, it's hard to say no to some of that, especially your first year. And I told her at one time or another, or here in the future, she's going to just have to start concentrating on basketball. And hopefully then some of us can take the rest and we can do that. So, it's going to be a fun year for her, but it's Tuesday at 8:30 that her and I are going to just sit down and have a conversation. And it should be great.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Tamika, Katie, Abby, thanks for coming on, being guests on the Pit Press, and being a part of the Lobo Women's Basketball Legends. We kicked off the men's side about a year ago with Ed Nunez, and Ed had nudged Yvonne to get the women's started, and it's definitely long overdue. We'll commit as much time that we can to cover the women's program too. So nice to informally meet you, and I'm sure we'll connect in the very near future. Coach Sanchez, any last words before we sign off?
Hey, love you guys. I really do. Thank you for everything. Abby, go get some rest. It's probably really late over there. Tamika, Katie, Abby, keep making a difference in people's lives, because that's what you're doing right now. Great job, you 3.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you having us. Thank you
so much. Go Lobos.
All right.
Go Lobos.
Signing off here on the Pit Press, I'm Eric Moulton, Coach Sanchez, Abby Jaramillo, Garcheck, famous Tamika Stukes, Katie Kern. Thanks everybody for tuning in to another episode on the Pit Press Live. Everyone have a good night. See you Tuesday.